Today, it's my first time to hear Kuolema tekee taiteilijan by Nightwish. Keep watching. Hi everybody, it's Christi Bovee with the Voice Love Company. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the little bell below so you don't miss a single video or when I go live. If you're coming out of lockdown and you're feeling a little bit strange, like your heart is still in lockdown, I have the perfect resource for you. It's Come Alive, 5 Ways to Unlock Your Purpose and Take Back Your Life. You can get all the details in the description box below. This video was made by enthusiastic voice lovers just like you. Well, this is a Patreon request, and I want to say thank you to all my Patreon patrons who are so fantastic, so loving, so kind, so patient with me as I get busy in my teaching life, my coaching life, and I don't often have time to make the content. I am taking requests solely from my Patreon patrons this summer. So if you're interested in making a request, you can join for as little as $1. You can get all the details about Patreon in the description box below. A lot of my patrons are Nightwish lovers, and this was an interesting video request. This is a song I've never heard of before. This is my first time to listen. I love Nightwish, and I'm excited that this is one that includes their original lead singer, Tarja. Let's dig in. Oh, how gorgeous. Oh my goodness. So I looked up the English translation of this song, and it is Death Makes the Artist. It's interesting because Tuomas's compositions often have this theme of death. Dead Boy's poem, for instance, talks about his death. It literally has a moment where his life is snuffed out. And there are a lot of these kinds of themes in his work, which is very interesting because he also has this juxtaposition of life and nature, and we were here. So I really find it fascinating when I look at the scope of the Nightwish songs that I've listened to, and I don't listen widely because I want to listen with you guys. It's just interesting to me, the themes that Tuomas writes around, and the fact that this is Death Makes the Artist really is impactful. I want to read some of the lyrics to you. Only once I got to see my dream, I didn't feel the smallness under the stars. Once I got bars to my cradle, from there I'm writing a letter as a prisoner. My God, to you, let me become what my child takes me for. In you, the beauty of the world, from which the death made me an artist. My God, to you let me become what my child takes me for. Created my own heaven here, let me get away. Absolutely beautiful, really stunning, and I'm loving the music, and Tarja's voice is gorgeous. Let's get back in and listen. So beautiful. Oh, her voice is ethereal. It's got this heavenly quality to it. Really, really gorgeous. It's interesting because I've already talked in previous videos about the difference between Tarja's voice and Floor's voice. Floor has a much more wide vowel modification that she does. It's a little more contemporary. Tarja is really much more of a true classical singer. She has a much more round vowel quality. And again, there's no right or wrong. Obviously, I've never heard this song before, so this is Tarja's song in my mind. But I just want to draw your attention to the fact that the way she's singing, it's a very forward classical placement. It's not this, oh, which she sometimes does have. This has a lightness to it. Maybe that goes with the child who's singing. She's keeping it a little more childlike, a little more innocent, not quite so round and heavy. But there is definitely a round vowel modification that she sings with, even in this brighter tone quality. So just something to note. And she's just glorious. She's an absolutely beautiful, lovely person, human, but also an incredible vocalist. It's so great to hear her again and makes me want to listen to more of her. Oh my goodness. Tuomas just creates these experiences. Nightwish is an experience. It's not just music. And I'm loving seeing all these young people in the audience and just loving how they're appreciating this kind of music, this truly symphonic experience with a classical vocalist. There's not the metal part of it in this song, and yet they are still totally engrossed, totally immersed in the experience Tuomas is creating for them musically and with the narrative. I'm really touched by that. It makes me think that Nightwish listeners have to be more well-rounded listeners in some ways, because I think when I was growing up and classic American rock was really at the fore, it was very much, and this is probably just an American tendency anyway, but very much an ownership of this is the only kind of music I listen to, the only kind of music I like, and anything else is sissy stuff, or, you know, just this kind of machismo around classic rock that had no room for anything else. That's kind of how I grew up with the community of people that I was in. I love the fact that Nightwish listeners seem to be much more well-rounded, much more people of the world. They are open to a lot of different things. And I will say, Nightwish listeners are some of the nicest fans that I interact with in the comments. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because I was really nervous coming into this space, listening for the first time, learning about metal music. They have been so warm, so lovely, so kind, and I love the community that you guys have. It's really incredible. So this is what I'm taking away. This is how my brain works. You're getting to see a little inside look at what's going on in here. That may be kind of scary, but I don't care. I'm really enjoying being able to have these experiences with you. And I just thank you so much for embracing me in this space and giving me these opportunities to listen for the first time. It's such a gift. The music is a gift, and you are a gift. Wow, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's deconstruct this gorgeous masterpiece a little bit more. One of my main takeaways from this song is how much you can hear the heart of the composer, Tuomas. I just think the marriage of the classical vocalist with this metal, with symphonic, it's just so incredibly beautiful. There's something so ethereal about it and otherworldly. I've said this in many of the other Nightwish videos, but it's film score-ish, and so it can transport you to different worlds just by the feel, the way he's orchestrated, the instrumentation choices, and of course the vocal choices, the melodic lines that he writes. All of these elements work together in this song to take us on a beautiful adventure. What strikes me as I'm listening back through this again is Death of an Artist. It's almost like got a requiem kind of quality to it. That is something that you find a lot of composers write. And I don't know if this is overtly a requiem necessarily, but there is something about it that has that musical quality of gravity to it and a sadness to it. It's really incredibly compelling. It really brings you into the emotion because of the way he's working our hearts. You know, he's really creating this magic experience where the music transports you. It transports you into a place of emotion, which I think is a really big reason why a lot of us want to listen to music. It's a chance for us to connect to parts of our hearts that we don't normally go to in our day-to-day lives. We just don't give ourselves time. We don't have the time to do it. And so having moments like this, it's almost like a portal into a place of release emotionally. Song that as a vocalist it really exposes your technique, and Tarja handles it so beautifully. You can see her incredible grasp of her breath support, the very long phrases that this song has, and all of the different Finnish pronunciations that she is so masterfully navigating, and she's doing it with such relaxation. I always go back to this as I watch these videos because it's a huge part of being able to sing with freedom, is to be able to relax your body and let the sound just come forward. She has such a command of the stage at this moment. She is in her glory. But one of the most beautiful parts of the song comes right here in this instrumental interlude. The cello solo in this section is heartbreakingly gorgeous. song continues to build and grow. You'll hear in the orchestration, the violins come back in, there's a big swell, and Tarja takes a little more liberty with the dynamics. She leans into it and gives it a little more gravity still. But what I want you to watch also in this clip is how masterfully she pulls back that dynamic to a very pianissimo dynamic marking. It makes for such a beautifully intimate moment. I love Tarja's voice in this next clip. I feel like it really shows what she's capable of. And of course we know she's capable of even more, but I feel like because she's having to sing in this really controlled, beautiful, lovely, dynamic area of her voice, it just allows it to really ring in a really present, gorgeous way. Before we end, I want to listen to this clip one more time with fresh ears, because Tuomas tends to write a lot of anthem, repetitive kinds of themes that are sung over and over in his music. I'm thinking, of course, of Shoemaker. But there are also others, the We Were Here themes, and all of these different things musically, how they come back in and are repetitive, and then the song finishes. It's just such a beautiful thing that he does as a composer. Well, that's it for me today. Like if you liked it, subscribe, and don't forget to share with someone you know loves Nightwish. You can ask me any question about your voice in the comments down below, on my blog at voicelove.co, on Instagram at The Voice Love Company, and now on Wizio.com. Get all those details in the description box below. One thing I love about the themes that Tuomas tends to come back to every time is it's the way he writes, and we can look at these different compositions and see his fingerprint on his creation. I want you to realize that you've got something in you that needs to come out. Nobody else can do it but you. And you may think, oh gosh, this is just so repetitive. This is what I do, and it's always the same thing over and over and over. No, the world needs it. The world needs what you have to offer. So don't be afraid to bring it forth. Find the themes in your work, whatever it is that you're doing. Let that come out. Keep finding your voice. Keep making your sound in the world today. The world is waiting for what you and only you can bring. And remember, you are loved. Bye, guys.